June 29th meeting of the Transportation Committee will now come to the order. Madam Clerk, could you please call roll?
Mr. Baroth. Here. Mr. Cassetti. Here. Chairman Colby.
Here.
Mr. Daniele. Here. Mr. Gamble is excused. Mr. Howland is excused. Mr. Lee. Here. Mr. Monroe is excused. Mr. Rocco.
Here. Is everyone signed up for public forum?
No, there is not.
Is there anyone present that would like to address this committee at this time? Seeing on the next item on the approval of the minutes of the May 25th 11 minutes of the Transportation Committee are before you. They stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 11-176, authorize a contract with Transcor.
You got it bad.
Mr. Rocco.
Rocco and
Mr. Cassetti.
Cassetti moved up. Any questions? Mr. Lee.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, confirm the total cost of this initiative will be $3,400 for the county share. How long have we had this Transcor ITS system in place?
Through the chair, we originally contracted with them in 2002, and we had a maintenance agreement with them for several years. Then we upgraded our system, and we're under warranty for another year, and now we're back into a maintenance agreement. So since 2002 was the original time with Transcor.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Referral 11-1.
Moved by Mr. Cassetti, second by Mr. Tanley.
Mr. Daniele.
The tailing guy.
The Italian.
Any questions? Mr. Broth.
Sure. I want to say, hey, Mr. Chair, but thank you very much anyhow. Through the chair to the administration, I have a couple questions about this. One's it's kind of a generic question, but I think it's rather important, and I don't want to go over it too slowly. How are these particular highways selected?
Through the chair, these projects, these roadways were identified. We put them in for federal money several years ago, and now finally the time has come for them to be done. But we look at what the condition of the road is, the type of the road, and the treatment that's needed to determine whether they would be appropriate for federal funding. And it's usually more something like a resurfacing type project.
Thank you. And through the chair to the administration, then when we're determining the state of the road, it's back when we originally make the determination it's a problem. So if this was several years ago, that's what you're basing the selection process on, that condition from several years ago, and then we wait for the federal government to do what they do, however long it might take. Is that correct?
Well, no, through the chair, no, that's not quite right. When we submitted it for it's called the the Transportation Improvement Program.
Yeah.
It's based on what the road is at that time, and we look to see, so there's some need, but we feel that it can wait before it needs to do a resurfacing several years out when we will get the money. So we did put it in for, and I don't know the exact year I got it into the tip, I'd say it was three years ago, and then we did design last year, and now we're going to do the construction this year, and then another project next year.
Okay. Thank you. And then through the chair to the administration, a follow-up question. Can you confirm, or can someone confirm, that the total cost for the county for this project will be at $117,000?
Through the chair, I can confirm that the total cost will be 5% of what the construction is. At this time, it's estimated to be that amount. Now, with any construction project, you might have the actual construction cost might come up or down slightly. So it could change slightly by $117,000.
Okay. And through the chair to the administration, and I assume, this has come up before, that you don't anticipate any particular concern with right-of-way costs or any fees along those lines that we've seen on past construction projects that have been surprising to the administration.
Through the chair, that's correct. These are just maintenance projects. It's all within the existing right-of-way.
Okay. And then I have one last question through the chair to the administration, in that apparently the Capital Fund 1511 has currently total encumbrances of $159,000 and some dollars, and having issued $250,000 of the $5.1 million in total authorized funding, total authorized bonding, does the county anticipate any additional debt to cover the remaining cost of this project?
It's through the chair. Usually the finance director usually answers these, but I will.
He's here, he's present in the room.
Oh, there he is. I could answer it, but then he might not like my answer.
Bringing the back bench in.
Pinch hitting.
Through the chair, we would anticipate the potential of bonding additional dollars here. It will depend on the timing of the federal and state aid that comes in as far as reimbursement goes. Depending on cash flow needs of the county in these particular projects, that would necessitate whether we actually exercise the option to borrow.
And as a follow-up to that answer, through the chair to the administration, currently, however, would you anticipate, knowing what you know now, that there will be any future debt or borrowing as a result of what you think what you anticipate from the federal government, or is that just simply an unknown?
Through the chair, it's the simple answer is it is an unknown at this point in time. If the federal government or the state government decides to slow down the reimbursement process, and we've extended ourselves from an operating cash flow perspective, we would need to go to market to bond. At the present time, we've issued approximately $250,000 in bonds on this project. The overall project we anticipate to be about $314,000 in county dollars. We wouldn't, at today's date, anticipate issuing anything more than the $314,000, so an additional $64,000 for this particular project. But again, we reserve the right, because of federal and state aid reimbursement, to be able to issue additional dollars if necessary.
Thank you. Excellent answer. I appreciate that. That's all.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 11-178.
Moved by Mr. Adair, second by Mr. Rocco. Mr. Lee.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, currently this bridge is rated by the New York DOT as structurally deficient with a 4.24 condition rating. This bridge was last inspected June 1st of 2010. What is the timeline for this project?
Through the chair, provided the legislature approves it in July, the contract will be starting in August and complete this year.
Okay. Thank you. I got another part to the question. What is the projected total county portion of the cost for this project?
Through the chair, including design, the construction, inspection, we anticipate a little bit over $1.6 million that we're going to need.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair to the administration, Capital Fund 1490 currently has a $2 million as authorized bond. So the county plan to issue this debt over the cover of this cost?
Through the chair, again, similar answer to the last question. We anticipate out of the $2 million that you've authorized to bond for this project that the county portion of that is about $150,000. that we would expect a bond for. Again, depending on timing of the reimbursement from the state and federal government could adversely affect that number that I just quoted.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 11-183, amend the 2011.
Moved by Mr. Rocco, second by Mr. Cassetti. Any questions? Mr. Rao.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, this project was part of the 2003 capital budget, but now we're revisiting again for an increased financial need. What has been the long delay in this project going forth, and what is the anticipated timeline at this point in time?
Through the chair, when we thought we were going to be doing it at that time, and the county put the money in our capital program, but over the time frame of when it was originally going to be constructed, which was not 2003, that's just when it went into the program, but it wasn't for 2003. We got, there was cost increased on other jobs throughout the region, and projects had a slide based on their need, and this project was one of the ones that did slide out in terms of schedule. At this point, we anticipate going out to advertise for construction later this year or early in 2012. Or excuse me. Back, I'm thinking on something else. This we'll start construction on this again, providing legislature's approval. We'll be starting construction in August, and it'll be complete sometime next year.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair to the administration, a financial question. According to the 2011 budget book, the Capital Fund 1330 has $1.6 million approximately dollars of remaining balance of debt to be issued. Yet we are asking for an increase of that potential debt load of nearly $2 million. Could you please explain why we need the increased authorization when we still have 1.6 approximately of debt to be issued yet?
Through the chair, that's a requirement of the county to have a bond authorization to cover the total cost of the project. Right. So when the overall cost of the project increases, even though there are available funds on the existing bond resolution, we would need, in order to let contracts for that project, we would need to have a funding source to be able to provide the support necessary to pay the bills of that contract.
Thank you. Through the chair, through the administration, as a follow-up to that, that makes sense to me, by the way. But then that would indicate that we actually expect our debt load to be smaller, and that if the, for example, the federal government comes through as we anticipate and hope that they will, if they do what we think they're going to do, what in fact would our responsibility be? Would it be clearly less than $3 million? But what would it be? What do we anticipate if the federal government does what we think they're going to do?
Through the chair, I unfortunately don't have those numbers in front of me, but I believe it would be about $150,000 would be the county net cost of 5% of the overall project.
And through the chair to the administration, if you could check on that and let me know at some future date, I'd appreciate that very much.
Certainly.
Thank you. And that's all I have for questions.
Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Are there any other matters that become before this committee? Seeing none, there are no further business of the June 29th meeting of the Transportation Committee now stands adjourned. The next meeting for the Transportation Committee is scheduled for July 27th.